I have found an email that was saying exactly about the whole build. Let's talk about differentials. Alright guys, today is a very exciting day because today we're gonna extract the engine from the Camaro together with my best friend here, Lotzi.
Hello.
Alright, let's get it on.
Four hours later.
Alright guys, the engine is out and obviously I'm gonna have to examine the engine to see what we have and what we don't have, as I said previously on the other video. So before I open the engine, I want to know about the history of the car, if we can find any details. So looking through emails and stuff, I have found an email that was saying exactly about the whole build. So I'm gonna read out some details and I'm gonna highlight what's important. All right, so let's go. Original owner purchased the car in 2009 and drove it for 2 years in stock configuration. After 2 years, 2.9 liter Whipple supercharger and 3.25 pulley was originally installed. We have installed 850 injectors, ZL1 fuel pump, cat delete, 6 LBS boost, full roll cage, world drag racing wheels, subframe, other modifications. Build number 2, 2 damaged pistons at 41,000 miles.
Shit!
So new LS3 motor was installed. The new LS3 block 416 stroker with forged internals was installed by Motiva Performance. 3.73 gears installed in the differential. Dyno by Motiva Performance at 672 rear wheel horsepower without nose. Build number 3. Purchased by current dealer, owner, dealer, trade, blah blah, redesigned, blah blah, invested in rebuild, upgrade transmission, blah blah, replace wheel driving race, blah blah blah, red black letter. Nothing interesting. Alright, so far what we know, we have an LS3 engine and we have forged pistons inside, and well, that's amazing news. So so because of the compressor, I want to change the belt from a 6 ribs to 10 ribs. So it's gonna be a more thicker belt and I'm gonna have more grip on it. Now what you see, it's a LS3 with full accessories on it. So what I want to do, I want to remove the AC and I want to remove the hydraulic pump. I have an idea for the new configuration of the belt, but obviously I'm going to have to change the dampener. Alright, once I get a new dampener, this is going to be the new configuration. Till the dampener will arrive from USA, I'm going to have to check the bearings on the engine and also the camshaft. So let's get it on. Alright guys, I just received the differential that I'm going to be using this season, and it comes from a 330 E46 diesel car and it has a ratio of 281.
What?
You don't know what's the ratio? Alright, well, let's talk about differentials. So far I was using this differential, and I was having constant problem with it because every second or third race my output shaft was breaking off, and I didn't know what's going on, what's the reason. So Lotzi told me, you might not have the 330 diesel that you think you have. And I said, no, I do have the 330 because I checked 2 times, 3 times. And he said, you will check again. But as stubborn as I was, I didn't check again. So I got myself a 330 diesel output shaft. But when I had to change it, it didn't fit. I was like, what's going on? Why not? Should be working, but it's not. So then I started looking into, and then I figured out that this is not 330 diesel. So I was running the 330i, which stands for gasoline engine. Obviously the diesel one is stronger because the diesel engine makes more torque. If somebody tells you that you're wrong on something, don't be naive, just double check again.
I can do that.
So I did double check again, and then I decided that, well, this time I want to buy a 330 diesel. So when you want to change the differential, there are a few things that you want to take in consideration. First of all, the strength is very important, okay? You want the biggest and meanest differential of all. And the biggest and meanest of all is the Winter's quick change differential. But it's also above 3,000 euro, which I cannot afford. The next best thing is to get M3 differential type 210, which is again above 1,000 euro, which I still don't afford. And the next best thing is the 330 diesel, which is this big boy here. Now, obviously you can see the difference between these two. It's easily noticeable. Visually, you can see that this is bigger than the gasoline one. Another big difference is the output shaft. And as you can see, the diesel output shaft is actually way thicker than the gasoline one. Alright? And in the same way, the output shaft diameter, exterior diameter, is way bigger than the gasoline one. The next thing you want to consider is the ratio. Okay, my ratio on this differential was 293, and I was looking to go somewhere very close, either higher or lower in ratio. Now, what the ratio means? So the ratio means in this case that I have 293. Every time I will turn the output shaft 360 degrees, my input shaft will rotate 2.93 times, so almost 3 times. On the differential that I'm going to be using this season, I have a ratio of 281, which means that it's a lower ratio than this one, which is not a big deal since the difference between the two ratio rates are not big. But still, what it means that the lower the ratio gets, the higher wheel spin I will have, and obviously I will lose some power. The higher the ratio gets, the less wheel spin you will have and more power on the tires. What's the relation between the wheel spin and power? Well, I'll tell you. You remember every time when you had to go uphill, you had to shift back on the first gear in order to be able to climb the hill. Obviously you were going slower, but the engine was rotating at the same speed, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6,000 RPM, but the car was moving slower, but it had more power, right? So when you were shifting back on a fifth gear, let's say, you had less power. You needed a lot more time to reach the speed that you wanted to. That's why you have to go first, second, third, and fourth gear in order to to move faster to the speed. Yeah, I know you're confused. I know. I was the same. Don't worry. You'll get it. Alright, so the next thing is connectivity. Obviously, you need to be able to connect the half shaft and the drive shaft in the front. So you have to be very careful when you're choosing the differential. So you have the output shaft and the input shaft related to your half shaft and drive shaft. Okay. And the last thing what I would say that is very important, it's the mounting. So as you can see, in this case, I have the mount, two mounts here and one mount here, which is the same for the diesel one, because it's the same chassis, so it's not a problem. In case if you don't have these mounts properly set up for the new differential, you might have to make adjustment on the carrier. I would not recommend that because there's a lot of forces working on the carrier and it's pretty dangerous. So try to find a differential that comes from same carrier so you don't have to harm the carrier. Also, what I would recommend, I strongly recommend to reinforce your carrier. This will do a big change when you want to do drifting because carrier tends to break if you don't care about it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to just remove the cover of the differential, remove the oil in it, clean it out, inspect the gears inside, see how they look like, and we're going to start welding on it. Okay, so as you can see right now, the differential is welded, but the job is not done because I just welded the spider gear to the side gear, right? And then what did I do? I welded in 4 points, and then I turned the gear and welded in the other side as well. The next thing, what I need to weld, another piece of plate that will come around here and just fully connect the gears to each other. So as you can see, I have managed to weld the plate into the differential, and I have left a small hole in the middle of the plate just in case if something happens and my output shaft will break. This way it's going to be easier for me to remove it because I can add a small screwdriver, or not, actually a big one, and I just pop it out. That easy. So this will conclude the welding for the differential, and the differential is ready to go. While the differential is getting dry, what I want to do is to clean the half shaft. Just to clean everything in between the ribs because it tends to rust, and then you have a lot of problems when you have to remove it or insert it into the bearing shaft. Now, the one thing that you don't want for sure is that in case that something happens and then you break the half shaft and then you have to remove it from the car, it's going to be really hard to remove from the bearing shaft. So the best thing to do is to prepare and then clean this up really well so it enters the bearing shaft easily and comes out easily, right? Let's go. PMC Motorsport. This is quality. And I'm leaving towards Bucharest to pick up the car. Well, because this way is cheaper. Alright?